Can you do Batman?
I can't actually. I can't do any sorts of voices.
Adam do Batman.
Damn, Carol.
That was real good.
Wait,
Rachel.
Butterscotch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 67 of Coffee with Butterscotch, the game dev comedy podcast. Butterscotch, you did it again. My name is Sam, and I make art.
My name is Carol, and I put words and pictures on the internet.
Words in pictures or and pictures?
Sometimes
Whoa.
both.
It's like a Russian
That's
nesting doll.
multimedia approach to social networking.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's the one.
My name is Adam, and what do? I fight pirates.
Nobody even knows, but we're going to talk about it.
Swashbuckling Adam.
And
Well,
today is
I'm a
October
swashbuckler.
4th of 2016, in case you missed that part.
May the 4th of October be with you.
Mm-hmm. And just want a brief warning before we really lose our cool here. Anything could happen in this show. Profanity and lewdness is guaranteed. So the show should not be listened to by children, babies, puppies, kittens, any small infant-like malleable-brained creature.
Mm-hmm.
baby rhinoceroses. That's
Those-
actually why Seth isn't here this week, is because he was up late looking
Tending.
at gifs of baby rhinoceroses
Yeah.
instead of tending his disease.
And he got super sick.
yeah.
He
Well,
he wants a tank dog. That's the sort of next level after his current.
A tank dog?
Tank dog.
Right. Tank. Oh, yeah,
I was
gotcha.
actually asking him. I was like, why are baby rhinoceroses so much better than something like a baby panda?
Mhm.
Because baby pandas are the best.
They're adorable.
Clearly. And he just said they're like puppies.
Yeah.
So Google this. Look it up.
It's
Is
a very heavy
ridiculous.
puppy.
So
Also, it will impale you.
they don't
during
really have
play.
they don't really have horns when they're babies.
Do they?
I don't think so.
Eh.
They're like maybe little
Or do
tiny
they have,
baby
like-
horns. They're like so small.
Are they like retractable cat claws for horns? And they
Ooh, that would be
spear out?
amazing.
That'd be terrifying. All right, we're going to move beyond that. Let's get to some news, some studio news. First thing to talk
Which
about
you pinned?
Is your shoes.
is my shoes, which are amazing. So I got my wedding shoes on because I got to break them in before Saturday.
Is you getting hitched?
I'm getting hitched, and I'm wearing some shoes. And for those of you who haven't had to break in a pair of shoes before, it hurts considerably. So I'm glad I'm doing it now. And I think the theory is that it's supposed to make it better.
Although you should have gotten shoes that don't just actively hurt. Like, I mean, yeah, you need to break them in, but they don't need to be, they shouldn't hurt a lot in the first
It's like a
place.
wild stallion, Adam. You got to
Yeah.
break it before you can
Okay, what
harness
if you
the power.
feed it a golden apple?
Then it'll.
Or does that make them have babies? I'm trying to remember. How does
Well,
Minecraft work again?
That's how you get maggots in your shoes.
That's how you get maggots.
That's how you,
Do you want maggots? Yeah. No,
I've never had to
I
break
can-
in shoes before.
I can attest to the discomfort of shoes from
Mm-hmm.
many years of experience of being horribly in love with shoes.
yeah, because the more shoes you have, the more of your shoe time is spent breaking in shoes.
interesting.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Or just dealing with lots of blisters and foot pain.
Well, because you never actually get to fully break in a pair if you wear a different pair every day.
Right. Could it
That's
be
true.
said that you actually fall in love with the pain of loving a new pair of shoes?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Someone should write some
And the-
emo poetry about this.
The pain of the price of a new pair
Also
of
that, yeah.
Maybe-
designer shoes.
Maybe Sam should write some emo poetry.
Oh
about
God, no. Okay.
Also, if you're interested in Sam's poetry, you can go on Amazon.com right now to
Okay.
purchase his poetry.
He
book,
doesn't know how to turn it off yet.
Metaphorgasm.
That book, it was secretly just no one knew about it for the last like 3 years, and someone mentioned it on a podcast. It was you, I think.
I
can't remember who it was. And
Could
now
have been anybody.
every damn month, somebody in the world buys it. Just one person.
It was
It's
mentioned
the same person
before-
every time.
Probably.
though.
It's probably just
It
random.
might be. It's actually me every single month. It was mentioned before I was hired, though, because I bought it before I started working here.
That's true.
So I
I'm
just
going to go ahead and
mentioned
blame
that I bought it.
Seth because he's not here to defend himself.
It's
I
good
feel
strategy.
like you're the one who brought it up. I feel
No.
like
It was. I think Seth brought it up because there's something that happened that reminded Seth of the fact that I'd written the book or something,
Mhm.
and then we ended up talking about it. So my dark poetry past was I believe was the news item to talk about that week. So quit it. You quit talking about it. Let it die.
Maybe buy the video games.
Buy
and
the video
not-
games instead.
No, you should totally buy Metaphorgasm. It's got a picture of his face on the cover, and it's hilarious.
Carol, shut up. All right. Adam, let's talk about pirates because Adam had a terrible weekend.
Actually, really, it was pretty good
Well, I
weekend.
know you enjoy your program.
Because it's fun to fight people using hacking
Let's
on
take
the
a
internet. I felt like one of those.
Vigilante pirate fighter.
I felt like one of those CSI like hackers, you know, where I was constantly trying to adapt to the bullshit, although it was way slower.
It's probably more how it actually happens, right?
Yeah. And it was a lot more of just like staring at things, trying to understand what was happening instead of just frantically four-handed keyboard typing, which would have been a lot more exciting. But even still, it felt like it.
So back us up, tell us what happened that precipitated your weekend being stolen by pirates.
What happened? So I guess long story short, we send lots of emails to our Butterscotch ID users, right?
Like how many emails?
A few thousand a day, unless we're sending a newsletter, in which case it's anywhere from 50 to 150,000.
Yeah, and we write each and every single one of them by hand.
Yep, handcrafted, and then we put it into. So I have this nice robotic automated pipeline, but we write each email by hand and put it into that pipeline first.
Yeah.
So it's very labor intensive, a lot of
with
love.
Kiss.
Exactly. Yeah, a few even.
A robot
for
kiss.
each person.
Yep. Six Butterscotch cookies.
Yep. Plus
cocoa.
It's a
Plus
little
cocoa.
sticky.
A
It's
cocoa
It's a
Yeah.
little sticky, and there's some allergens.
Yeah, you may get a disease, but on the plus side, you get a handcrafted, lovely email. from us. So we have this system, and it turns out that sending lots of emails to people is a big pain in the ass because of spammers. Because there are many reasons we can't have nice things. It usually revolves around pirates, spammers, and hackers. So because of spammers, every different email thing like Gmail and Hotmail and whatever is always actively watching the emails that come in and tries to decide if they trust you as an email sender or not.
Okay, so they're basically keeping like a popularity score.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. So it's your how much they trust you to not be
Okay.
a spammer. So the less they trust you, the less they actually deliver your messages, and they start just bouncing them instead.
Do they talk to each other too?
Yeah.
So, does
So
Hotmail
some of them
and
share
Gmail-
some information, some of it's just internal, and
Okay.
some companies make that information public and have an avenue where if you run into trouble, you can ask them to help you out, and whatever, but some don't do anything at all and it's all automatic. And the one we ran into is QQ.com, which is the huge Chinese company. It's the main one apparently that most Chinese users have for email accounts. It's based in China and they screen absolutely everything that comes through, and it's all very secret. So they don't actually tell you what the limits are or anything. So all of a sudden, we've had trouble sending mail to them anyway for a long time. But then all of a sudden, they decided they didn't like us. We don't know why. There's no path for us to fix it. They just decided they don't like us. So all of a sudden, they were rejecting about half of all the emails that we sent, but at random. So one user might submit an email and it would bounce, and then a minute later submit with the same address and it would go through. So it wasn't even like we could just blacklist users. It was just the email service being like rejecting half the time. So this is all could be fine, right? Because it doesn't cost us very much to send an email. The main problem is that then our email server, our email provider, started to get angry.
Because they look at us and they're like, you guys are fucking up your reputation.
Yeah, they're like,
you're
you're
messing up our reputation.
Exactly.
Ah.
So then they
But you're bouncing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then Friday morning, I woke up to an email from them saying, "Hey, we noticed that you're sending garbage and we're going to now get rid of your account." And so then since that moment, I've been frantically trying to put measures in place to fix the problem, which ended up resulting in digging into this and finding out that most of those users who are bouncing anyway are just stealing the game from us. So
Surprise!
So then instead of having to come up with some elaborate mechanism, which I still will have to do eventually, of trying to like send only a few emails at a time or something, instead I just blocked them all.
Which tangentially was really interesting.
Tangentially.
It was interesting to hear you say that you recognized some email addresses.
I did.
In the,
Well, so the end result of all this was that then yesterday I came and I was fucking pissed at all these
Adam's
goddamn
in a
pirates.
fit of rage.
Okay, keep in mind too, like all this. So we have all this stuff going on just in general life. So the Butterscotch crew, Adam and Seth in particular, are heading over to Steam Dev Days next week.
Yeah, if
I'm
you're,
getting
by the
married
way, if
this
you're there,
weekend.
make sure you say hello to us. We'll be in our Butterscotch shirts.
I'm getting married this weekend. Pixel Pop is this weekend, the
Uh-huh.
conference here in St. Louis, which Adam and Seth are both give talks at, and Carol runs. So
And I'm getting ready to go to IndieCade.
yeah, and Carol's getting ready to go to, like, there's a lot of stuff happening
A lot's
right now.
happening. And
so-
also, all of our Android builds are about to break if we don't get an update out by Monday of next week, because we won't be here because we'll be at Dev Days when the deadline hits where they will all break. So
Yep.
Seth is frantically trying to get an
that's
update
happening.
done.
And we've been pushing to try to get the creator out the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
And I wanted to work on the crater last week
and then
and this week.
so that's all the basically all the work stuff.
Yep.
But
And
then also
it's-
Adam has a house that hasn't been finished up yet, so he can't
Yep.
comfortably live his damn life.
I need to replace my toilets this week. I've
So-
been
Do
Do you
putting up
have seating?
shades.
Do you have chairs in your
I
house
have ordered
yet?
chairs.
You've ordered
You did?
chairs, but you
Yeah.
don't have
They should
chairs
be here
yet.
maybe even today, actually. So soon we will.
Well, so the
have
thing
chairs.
is, our weekends are very precious because it allows us to actually keep up on the other end of all of our life stuff. for the
Yeah,
most
and we
part.
tend to still do some work anyway,
Yeah.
but usually because we just want to.
Not because
Not
pirates
'cause
forced your
fucking
hand.
Pirates forced my hand. So,
So these
I-
people don't understand that not only are they stealing our game and
They're
preventing
stealing our
us
freedom.
from having more runway to be able to
Mhm.
make more better games in the future, they are literally stealing our freedom.
Stealing
That's
Adam's
exactly right.
weekend. Yeah.
Yep. So I came on a Monday and I was like, you know what? Fuck these guys. So
Bring down the Banhammer. I think that was
So-
the question. That was the first item on the docket.
yeah,
The Banhammer.
the Banhammer. And so I guess right when shortly after I joined the studio, I added a thing that made it so that people wouldn't be able to steal in-app purchases from us anymore. And I called it, I can't remember what I called it at the time, but part of that was then creating a tool called the Banhammer that would then go through and look at everybody who supposedly bought something from us and look at them, a day or two later and see if they truly did. And if they didn't, then we would ban them from all kinds of stuff. So we ended up not implementing it because we didn't need it at the time, but now we needed it. So
Yep.
So yesterday I re-implemented the Banhammer and ended up banning 15,000 people
Ugh.
who had falsely reported purchases of Crashlands, specifically on Android. So that was what I did.
Did
I
you
feel-
hear-
I felt really good about it.
Did the screams of the masses echoing across the force?
Well, the
hit
thing
you?
is, it's so by doing that, they won't even have noticed necessarily that this has happened, right?
Mhm.
Because the consequence is that in Crashlands, you still have access to all the things, even if you don't have record of purchase, except you can't sync your save anymore.
Mm.
So suddenly all these people won't be able to sync their saves and they'll get popped out of like the save list. But they're still being stored in a server, so I have to go wipe those and all that. But I'm gonna give it a few days to settle to make sure that I didn't fuck it up and ban people who shouldn't be banned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
before
It was
doing that.
so hilarious though seeing your face because we would be asking about it and you would suddenly just raise an eyebrow and be like, I don't know, let's see. And just like go in and
Put
try to
some
hunt
stats.
folks down and like let us know how
It
many
was
people were.
really interesting. I mean, it was because this whole QQ.com thing was creating all this problem specifically in email, but then it turned out that we had of those. So I guess I should take a step back and say that that we don't actually sell games in China at all, except through
Yeah,
iTunes, right? So and the iTunes user base in China, I don't think is very big as far as I know. And so people actually can't buy our games in China, right? So I get why there's piracy, and I truly don't harbor any like true ill will, though it was a very frustrating weekend because I get it. We're not even letting people buy it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But even still, we know people from outside of China still have QQ.com accounts as well. So there was this big question of how many of those are actually legit. It turned out of those Android purchases I was looking at those who have QQ.com accounts, only 22 of them were real.
22 of the 15,000.
There were, only 12,000 of the fake ones were from QQ.com. So 22 out of 12,000
Were real birds.
were real purchases.
I mean, that's a good percentage.
Ah,
That is like
yeah.
what, 0.1%?
It's very low.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, while I was doing it, I had to go double check and make sure I didn't screw anything up. So I was looking through some of the other people that got flagged and then noticed some people who we know
Ooh.
in the list. And so it was all in all a very enlightening
And amusing.
and amusing
Yeah.
and
We-
frustrating experience.
We had a good chuckle. If you stole our game,
We know.
we know.
If you bought the game on Steam and then bought it on Android and then felt like you just deserved to have it on both because you bought it on Steam, so then refund it on Android.
We
But
also
then
know.
kept the key.
Oh.
We also know there are 250 of you.
Adam's got a list. We're gonna start reading it.
are.
How incredible would that be to maintain just a have a big piece of wood out in the front of the building, have a man come up and just chisel people's names into the.
We could call it the
Well-
shit post.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that's what my grandma called the shit list.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think having it on a big wooden post and
post.
calling it a shit post,
Be
I
more
think is
classy.
pretty good.
Slightly more classy.
Yeah, I like that.
Kind of hard to maintain, but
I'm gonna head to Home Depot next week and pick
Get us
up
a huge board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'll be good.
All right, Carol, talk to us
Oh,
about
dear.
Pixel Pop. Because Pixel Pop's
Oh
coming
my
up on
God.
Friday and Saturday and Sunday?
No, just Saturday
Okay.
and Sunday. So Pixel Pop is in its third year. It is the St. Louis Games Festival that I've been helping to co-organize with the guy who runs Anime St. Louis here in the city. And it was essentially something that we organized in order to try to strengthen the game dev community in the city and help connect game developers with people who are super into games. Well, it took off in its first year, grew to about 500 people by its second year. And this year, we are at the St. Louis Science Center, which is super cool. And we've got people coming in from all around the country. And Adam and Seth and I are all going to be participating on panels and or giving talks. And so it's going to be super awesome. And I'm super freaking out right now.
I bet.
I've been like working on print collateral and writing my talk and emailing panelists like crazy.
What's your talk going to be on?
So the talk that I'm specifically giving is how a newbie can publish a product.
Okay.
So this is sort of my postmortem, my publishing postmortem on Pass the Buck.
Okay. So
So
on
coming in-
physical products.
Yeah, so coming in from absolutely zero experience or from video game experience specifically and deciding I want to put my product on a shelf and going through that process from prototyping to publishing and retail readiness.
Okay.
But it's kind of depressing.
But that's
first
actually the
project
appropriate
postmortem.
message.
Right,
Is
yeah.
that it's not an easy thing.
Yeah. But on the flip side, Seth's talk is going to be really motivating.
Yeah.
He's talking about how to do what you want and to make time for the things that you want to do. Specifically, if you want to do game development, he's going to motivate the pants off of you.
Yeah.
I believe it's called "Do What You Want" or "Not, I'm Not Your Dad."
Yeah. I think that's the subtitle of the talk. And if you want to hear him say "dang" an enormous number of times,
There's a good bit in there.
there's a really good bit.
That's awesome.
Where
About dangs.
A lot of digs. But yeah, he's giving his talk on Sundays. Yours
On Sunday.
Saturday?
Mine is also on Sunday. So I am doing a voice acting panel on Saturday morning. And then immediately after, I'm doing a tabletop games panel with 3 really amazing tabletop game designers. It's going to be Jamie Stegmeyer from Stonemeyer Games, Christopher Bedell from Greater Than Games, and Nicole Klein from Cardboard Fortress. And it's going to I am crazy excited for that panel because it's going to be so cool. So if anybody's interested in board games specifically, those are people you definitely want to hear from.
So how do people find Pixel Pop?
Yeah, where do you get a pass?
Pixelpopfestival.com.
Okay.
I think pre-sale passes are closed, so you can just come to the event and get a pass at the Science Center. It's $15 for one day, $25 for 2 days, and it is gonna be phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the time on them? Like what duration of the day?
Oh, so registration starts at 9:30 on Saturday and closes at like 3:00, and then on Sunday it starts at 10:30 or 11. I can't remember specifically,
That's a
but
slightly shorter day.
it's a slightly shorter day. It gives you a chance to, recover from being hungover from Sam's wedding.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so we'll mostly be there, I think, on Sunday, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But also to some degree on Saturday. So
Saturday morning
if you want to see us, or just more importantly, just go to Pixel Pop.
and learn a lot.
Learn some things. Just you go do it. Also, the Science Center is a cool place.
Oh,
and
it's super
It
cool.
is.
you can just go in there and hang out and then look at science and then go talk about video games.
Yeah.
Like what more could you want to do on a weekend?
Plus, there's like game tournaments and indie game demos and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. You can win stuff. So yeah, it'll be a good day. Good
Did
weekend.
we get those? We gave out 2 passes, right?
We are announcing the winner for those passes tomorrow, which is today for the podcast listeners.
Ooh, okay.
So
Too late.
too late to
Apologize.
It's too late to, what was it?
Pixel Pop. Fertilize.
It's too late to fertilize. But you should come if you're anywhere in the Midwest or if you just feel like flying in last minute to St. Louis.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Be
It's
super
going to
good.
be an expensive little operation if you do that. But you do you.
You do you.
I
Money
want to talk about
bags.
something else that happened over the weekend, which I forgot to bring up, which is this talk I gave,
Oh, yeah.
which was a thing. So it was the bone marrow transplant celebration, which is like every year the hospital puts together this big, essentially a dinner / celebratory gala thing, and invites anybody who's had a stem cell transplant ever to attend
From that hospital?
Yeah.
Or okay.
and then all the doctors show up too. And so it was really interesting though, mainly because both my dad and my mom are from the medical field.
Mm.
And so I think it was really interesting for them because they had never been to an event where it was actually,
So patient.
it was
Focused?
patient and, well, it was patient and doctor focused, right? And so
Right.
it's essentially a bunch of patients getting up there and giving speeches and stuff, thanking all the doctors in the
Wow.
room. Like a very powerful thing because it's all cancer related too, because all these people would have just been dead.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's about 1,000 people there this year. And I gave the keynote for it, which was like a 25-minute talk. And that was emotional on another level that I didn't think was going to happen. Because like you practice it at home and you're
Yeah.
like, I got it. I can hold my shit together. And I got like a paragraph in and I was just a
fucking
blubbering mess. But it went really well. So it was super interesting to see that level of sort of community support and community outpouring with regards to people who do help each other all the time, but who normally don't actually get that time to sort of interface in that way, right? Because normally you only see your doctor in the doctor context or your patient in the patient context. It was really
Good
personal. That's
Yeah.
It's a lot of people too who've all kind of been through the same shit.
Yeah.
Which is good because otherwise it's hard to talk about that with other people because even because I went through it still as a bystander, right? Even though I was close to it. So like it makes it easy for me to talk about that with other people, even though it's still not that easy, but from the side of actually experiencing it, like how the fuck do you commiserate with someone who was so sick for a week being poisoned on purpose that they don't even remember that week existing. Right.
Yeah.
Like I think you have to have had that experience.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yes, it was really good.
Is that talk visible somewhere?
It's not. I do have the transcript of it. I don't think they took a video of the whole thing, but I do have the transcript available, so I'll figure out how to put that somewhere that's more public so people can actually dig into it.
Yeah, I read it. It was just so incredible.
Some people got it. It will hit you in the feels, probably. I think, just about no matter what. So
I was sitting in my living room alone on Facebook reading this transcript of this talk, silently weeping to myself.
Yeah, one of my good friends that we message, and he's currently an attending, training up to be a real doctor, and he said he went to the bathroom, and decided to read some Facebook while he was in there, and then he was actually weeping loud enough that someone came in and was like, "Are you okay?"
Must be one bad poop.
Yeah, it's be terrible. So I was like, "It's a very holy place to read this from. It's good thing." But yeah, so I think these events, I mean, even events where you actually just get to gather with a bunch of your people, which is why like Pixel Pop being in St. Louis is so cool to me, because there's just not an equivalent sort of thing. And like you get the same feeling actually with being someone who's super into games if you don't actually have a lot of friends who are into it, or like a crowd that you get to run with. Just being around people who have experienced a lot of the same stuff you have, or just into the same stuff, can be like such a motivating and sort of magical thing over the weekend. So I mean, like I really encourage anybody who's around or within even like a couple hours to make the trip out to the Pixel Pop thing and come be with your people for a few days.
And if you can't do that one, they're actually are all over the place all the time. And so just keep an eye out, because absolutely they're worth going to and experiencing.
All right, speaking of another conference, it's about Steam Dev Days a little bit.
Oh yeah, Steam Dev Days.
That's another one of those things.
Oh my God, there's just so many things.
Oh God, I know.
What even is this?
Getting through this next 2 weeks is going to be.
It's going to be a thing. But Steam Dev Days will be really cool. So this is a thing where Steam basically invites Steam developers to all come hang out for a couple days, and they give some talks about technical aspects of being on Steam, let us ask them questions about things and so on. But otherwise, it's a really good opportunity for us just to meet other developers and chat with them. So what we're trying to do is figure out who's going to be there and who kind of is in a similar position to us, so that we can kind of learn from each other. And so we're trying to track down people who are, self-publishing and making games that are getting some success and they're on a positive trajectory, but seem to be maybe doing either just a bit better or a lot better, or maybe a little worse than us, and so on, and trying to figure out, compare notes, try to figure out how we can all learn together. So it should be a really cool experience. I'm really excited about meeting some of the people whose games that I've played. Yeah. So it's going to be real neat.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite parts of events, is suddenly finding yourself with these people who you've looked up to for so long, and suddenly being able to call them friends, and just like hanging out and sharing beers and sharing beers with people who make stuff that inspires you on the regular, and then finding out that maybe you've made stuff that inspires other folks. And it's just such a amazing thing to be able to, like you said, commune with people who, have the same passions and inspirations.
I think I mentioned it on the Post PAX podcast, but I ran into the Super Meat Boy programmer.
Oh yeah.
Tommy, just randomly.
So cool.
Down on the 4th floor of PAX. And I was like, what? I saw him and I was like, slowed down, turned back around, went over and chatted with him for a little bit. And it's just, it's weird. It's super weird, because they're always just people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're always just people. And so you always have them sort of on a pedestal when you worship the work that they've made, maybe, but you meet them in person. And I think our swim coach always said that Olympians put on their pants one leg at a time, just like everybody else. But then I saw that video of the guy who backflips into his pants, and I was like,
fuck that guy.
That fucking guy.
There's always somebody who just has to make the rest of us
backflipping into his pants. All right, let's move on to some questions.
Yeah.
Question time.
So these questions come from podcast@bscotch.net. You can ask them with or without a Butterscotch ID, and we recommend you do because it's fun for us to answer them.
And we should also say, those questions are dwindling.
Yeah.
So,
And yet our listenership groweth.
yeah. So I guess maybe
Get you some queries in our direction.
yeah, just throw some.
I mean, there's some questions.
They could even be, comments. You could tell us about something cool you've discovered. And
Tell us a story.
Tell us a little. I don't know what the character limit is on there, but try to hit it. Hit the character limit.
Hit it.
Discover it for yourself.
Fine. Yeah. To ask us what the character limit is.
Yeah, and then I'll have to look it up, I guess, and tell you.
Okay, so again, questions come from podcast@bscotch.net, and
Go
you
there.
can ask with or without a Butterscotch ID. But if you have Butterscotch ID, you get a coffee with Butterscotch perk.
And we also read your name out loud in our
Also
radio
that.
voices.
In our radio voices.
And I'll fancy radio.
We were actually talking
voices.
earlier about what would be the least ideal radio voice. You baby voice is not allowed. Carol.
Yeah, don't even use it. Don't even do it.
Fucking go there. Nope.
Nope.
I see it. I see it on your face. So what do you think would be like the worst radio voice to have besides the baby voice?
Besides the baby voice. Well, I was doing earlier, like mouthful of marshmallows and just talking over yourself.
Oh yeah,
and just-
someone who's got like just had wisdom teeth taken
and all
out.
you do is just talk over all the words that you're saying, and you don't ever actually take any breaths, and you don't ever stop talking.
The
That's still pretty easy to
non-enunciator.
understand, though. Yeah.
Maybe from over here.
I think you were still non-enunciating, but in a radio voice, so that it still had some enunciation.
Was it you or Seth who was asking about Batman on the radio?
I think it was Adam.
Can you do Batman?
I can't do any sorts of voices.
Adam to Batman.
That was good.
Damn, Carol.
That was real good.
Wait, Carol.
Rachel.
Wait, Carol, could you do your crazy laugh of Harley Quinn? So I think, would you rather be creeped out, not able to understand the message, or disturbed, like with the baby voice,
I don't know. I'd rather do a
I don't know.
old-timey
I don't know,
radio
Carol.
voice.
I don't know, Carol.
I think I'd rather be creeped out.
All right. On to some questions.
Okay. Let's answer some questions, shall we?
We try not to talk about politics too much on here, but someone had to ask.
That doesn't mean we have to answer.
ask.
What was the question, though?
But do you want? They just asked
don't
Oguz Who's asks, what do you guys and girl think of the presidential
Wrong!
debate?
Wrong, you're wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, I think the crazy thing is the next presidential debate is in St. Louis.
It is the night of Pixel Pop.
The night picks back in the night. Is it on Saturday night or
It's
Sunday?
Sunday night.
Okay, Sunday night. Yeah. It's going to
Post-wedding.
be, the day after the wedding. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to watch that. It's going to be great.
So you're going to celebrate your future and then look at how bleak your
Watch
future is.
watch it be destroyed in front of me.
Very next day.
The only thing I posted it on my Twitter actually the night of the debate, but all I could think of was that scene from Team America where he just keeps barfing. I was like, this is me right now, all night. Is this barf gif on repeat?
I think, I don't want to dive into it, but fucked up.
Saturday Night Live was pretty great.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about that frickin' parody is that they almost literally just read the
Wrong, you're wrong.
dialogue.
You're wrong. That's wrong.
You know what I'm
that's,
saying?
that's wrong.
Like usually in those they have to like make up jokes about stuff, but they didn't have to make up any jokes. They just
It was real
redid it.
good.
Yeah, they truncated it slightly.
Yeah, they basically cut the 90-minute debate into 9 minutes.
They were probably just so happy that they didn't have to do any work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah. I think, that is the summary, right? The summary of the debate was that it was a self-parody.
Yes.
I was watching, I think it was NBC or something that I watched it on, and afterward they go, "Well, that sure was the only debate that's ever been like that debate."
So once in a what do you say? Once in a quadrennial. Once every 400
Quaternion.
years, you see a debate that's this terrible. Somebody said. Anyways, all right. Next question comes from BSB333, who says, you mentioned playing D&D a couple of times recently, and I was wondering if you could tell us some about your characters and your adventure.
It's been so long.
It's been so
It's
long.
been so long since we've played.
You're an old person now.
Yes, Carol. Well, back in my day, I played as a rogue named Klepsy, who had a very long middle finger, which was infused with the spirit of a demon.
Mm-hmm.
So the story is that he fell into a cave and was running out, and the demon was trying to completely possess him, but he managed to sort of like break range, in time, so it just got his middle finger. His middle finger doesn't have any bones in it, and it's sort of like tentacly. And it's always trying to steal stuff, but just his middle finger.
Yeah, it just
And
has
so,
its own little mind.
So yeah, he'll be talking to someone, and the middle finger is like trying to grab their earrings or something. That was my
That's-
character.
That's gross and weird.
It was gross and weird, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Is it klepsy like for kleptomaniac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Knepsy.
Clips.
I don't even remember my character's name. It's been so long. But I think I was a
You were very hairy.
I think I was a thief. Yeah. So the notable thing about my character was that at one point I took a hair growth serum
Mm.
and grew hair everywhere and decided to make one portion of my hair into a lasso that I then just brought with me everywhere on the journey. And so this
Did it continue to grow? This
I
portion? So
think
the
at a
lasso-
normal rate.
Okay.
But it was still attached to me. So I just, took it from wherever it was and then tossed it over my shoulder.
Wherever it was.
You know.
Just the usual
So-
hair sling.
Just the usual hair sling. But it wound up coming in handy on several occasions.
It got us out of some hairy situations.
But yeah, we wanna pick did you ever play it?
I have not ever played.
You've never played once?
I have never
Ever
played.
D&D?
No,
We
my-
got to get this Butterscotch D&D campaign off the ground.
Yeah, my wife and I were not surrounded by enough nerds when we were in Dallas.
Oh man,
And,
I would love to play with Jen.
She hasn't played for a long time, but she used to play in high school, I think. So
So-
she'd be good.
We're going to get
Seth?
this going.
Well, Seth
Yeah.
bought everybody player's handbooks,
Mhm.
and I took mine home. And I had never actually sat down to read the player's handbook because our previous dungeon
Yeah.
master Stuart just explained everything so well to us that we never needed them. And so I'm sitting there reading just the intro, and I'm about to fucking weep because of how inspiring the intro to the D&D player's handbook is. I'm dead serious. If you are at all interested in games, either just like as an appreciator or as a developer
There are
or
some
as a
beautiful
storyteller,
books.
it
Yeah.
is. I mean, just the way that they introduce D&D as
An idea.
as a game. It's beautiful because it captures everything that I feel about D&D. Like D&D has become a very important part to how I view games and to how I have grown to love collaboration and creativity and all these things. And I think it's just one of the most powerful tools that's available to narrative designers.
Yeah. Well, I want to pull in from Chris Mitson's send off in the WoW forums last week, or whatever, and he mentioned playing D&D a lot when he was growing up. But he said the biggest point and the takeaway from his whole career and from that D&D stint too is that creativity is relative. Right, which means you build it with other people essentially, and it's based off of those interactions and those communications. And so anything that helps foster like that sort of an atmosphere where you're playing with ideas, you're playing with one another to figure out. You might have a goal in the end, like we do. It's various strategies or things we're trying to build, but if you can approach it with a playful mindset, maybe that's the sort of thing that helps people get across. Get by and around some of the usual more argumentative or debate style. I guess going back to it. Some more of the debate style stuff and sort of build something better together, I think, which is really cool.
Yeah. So yes, D&D coming soon. And we'll
Yeah.
probably regale all of you podcast
We'll
listeners
tell
with,
the
our,
tales.
with our goofy D&D stories.
All right, next question comes from Doombrowski, who asks, are there any other game developers that you have an active interest in? Do you keep up with their projects and that sort of thing?
I guess the quick answer is definitely, but then that latter half, we don't have time to keep up with even our own projects. So, I mean, we all probably have particular things that we tend to kind of check in on now and then. And I know for me, it's actually, I care a lot more about the people that I've met than actually the projects that they're working on. So because of just by chance, people we happen to meet at things, those are the people that I check in on. So in particular, it's the Trinket Studios, who are making Battle Chef Brigade, because we met those guys. They're great and I like them. So I try to keep up with them. And We Are Chicago, same deal, good people. So I just want to see how they're doing, you know? But yeah.
I have been a huge fan of the Behemoth for like a decade, I think. I think Castle Crashers was one of the games that actually put me onto indie games as a medium. And so I've been really in love with keeping up with them for a long time. And beyond that, I've really found myself really fond of more experimental developers, so and like narrative developers. So I get really excited about games that Fulbright announces they're working on. They're the ones who made Gone Home. They're working on Tacoma now, and just developers like that are kind of on the fringe that most people don't necessarily keep up with. But
And you kind of actually have to go out of your way to keep up with them because you don't see them front and center
all the time,
all
everywhere.
the time, everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine, I've been sort of changing who and how I focus on stuff just from an art perspective to try to get more ammo in the old noggin. And one of the people I've been following recently is making a game called Nycra. It's NYKRA. NYKRA.org, I think, is actually the website went up yesterday. He'd been doing a Kickstarter in like 2 months. It's just really beautiful. I mean, you can never tell how the game is actually going to play, right? Which is something to always say about games before they come out.
Yep.
But it looks like it's fun.
Right.
And it's really beautiful. And I'm pretty sure it's just one dev who's doing everything.
Wow.
And yeah, and like looks really good. Everything just sort of, it's got lots of tweening and it's all pixel art, really beautiful. And then I saw another one recently, which is a Kickstarter currently called Blubberbusters, which is sort of like a Metroidvania-esque game. But the art for it, again, is just like incredible. Like I just absolutely gorgeous and really, really good. So, and that one's got a Kickstarter that's actively going right now. But besides that, I think I actually don't really keep up with games, I guess. You know, like I play them and then sort of move on. I'm not a very good fan.
Yeah, I'm much more interested in the people
in a
now
dedicated
than-
sense.
Yeah. I used to be a fan of games, and I would try to keep up with studios and what they were working on and all that. And still, every once in a while, get excited about a thing like, because I also like Behemoth, and they are in beta for Pit People,
Yeah.
which I'm in the beta for, but so far it hasn't actually launched on my computer. So
It's
it's in beta. Yeah, doesn't seem to run yet. But or like when Bethesda releases another Fallout. Or you know any of those kinds of things that I'm kind of a general fan of, I'm pumped about. But other than that, mostly I just want to know the people
Yeah.
and know what
that's
they're
fair.
up to. Yeah,
I just thought of another that game company who did Journey and Flower. Oh my God. Anything that they ever put out, I will geek out over.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
next
cool
question.
when you can just identify people who are going to make good stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's it's a rare thing. Every once in a while somebody makes a good thing, but then very rarely will continue to make good stuff. But every once in a while you find those people who just everything they make.
Yeah. I'm
Gold.
on the edge of my seat for the next Campo Santo game.
There's another one? They
Well,
announced it?
They haven't announced it yet, no, but I'm sure that they're going to make another
Yeah.
one, and I'm going to be excited.
All right, next question comes from Stoffstorm, who asks, Dear Butterscotch, would it seem disjointed to you if a game's gameplay was pixel art and its cutscenes were vector art? So I want to talk about the idea of blending art
styles
or even perspectives,
Hmm.
because this happens a lot on accident. Just speaking from experience, when you don't have much experience in terms of making art, it's very hard to say like nail the actual perspective of the world consistently with every single piece that you make. So we've cracked this joke a bunch, but in Crashlands, if you put all the stations down in a line, they're actually all looked at with a different perspective for how they're being drawn, which sort of leads to it looking a little weird. And then on top of that, while the ground is essentially done from a top-down perspective, the creatures are almost in portrait, as are the characters and everything else. And so there's I just want to talk about like either the blending of art styles that you've seen or the blending of these sort of perspectives or ways of rendering it.
Yeah, although say for at least for Crashlands, right? What that demonstrates really effectively is that as long as you get the pieces and it's done well and the art itself is internally consistent, then players are really good at having their brains just kind of fill in the gaps and sort of embrace the weirdness and just sort of accept it as is, right? And as long as you have to do lots of little tricks in the art and in the code to do that. Like if you don't have shadows in this kind of a game, for example, you can't tell what the fuck is happening, right? And something as simple as adding a shadow, all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense to me that we're on a top-down 2D view looking at portraits of things, right? Because it actually shouldn't make any goddamn sense. But
It'd be like if you're looking at someone who's running around on a cliffside, right?
yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly
Like
what
a
it is.
snow leopard.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But just by something as simple as the way things move and so that you can tell there's a clear up and there's a clear down.
Yep.
And when things are positioned where they're all the same size on the screen, then your brain just sort of adapts to the fact that it's not seeing in perspective like it should.
We've talked about how consistency really is king when it comes to
Absolutely.
art in games.
And I think it needs to be a conscious consistency, because I think what you see a lot with newbie game developers who haven't cultivated taste yet, not to say that they have poor taste, just they haven't had enough time to actually understand why things work in a certain way and why they don't work in a certain way. You'll a lot of times see this horrible lack of consistency based out of a misunderstanding of aesthetic. And that is when it starts feeling really jarring.
Yeah.
But an example of a game that I think mixes art styles really well is Moon Hunters. So the actual gameplay is all pixel art, and then cutscenes and portraits of characters and things like that. These are all these beautifully hand rendered paintings.
It looks like hand drawn with watercolor. It looks like
and it works really well when you're playing, and it's the kind of thing that you don't think twice about. You're like, okay, this is just how this story is being told, and it's really gorgeous.
It's one of the cool things about getting to make a world in games is that you can make it however you want, you know, and people will just, I mean, this is the joke we tell a lot, right? Where the first game that Sam and Seth made forever ago, Tau Fight of the Gods, when Sam couldn't draw arms, so they made them bananas, right? And they just introduced the character or introduced the game by having an overarching voice that just says, "You've been teleported to the arena of the gods. Your arms are now bananas," right?
Which is brilliant.
Nobody questioned it.
Nobody questioned it. A lot of people thought it was amusing, but they didn't take the second step and say, "What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense." Right? They're just like, "Okay, my arms are bananas. This is fine." Yeah. So you can get away with a lot.
Yeah. So I think as long as it addressing this question in particular, saying gameplay that's pixel art and cutscenes that are vector art, I would say, yeah, that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it in principle.
Yeah. Because especially because of those two different modes of the player being involved, right? So as long as all the gameplay is consistently pixel art, and then say something like in Moon Hunters where you have portraits that are in more of a hand-drawn style or cutscenes that are in vector, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, things that are clearly sort of logically separate, right? Those can be, but they should still feel like they belong to the game. So the color palette should probably be similar. There are things that need to still make it all connect. I mean, I think another good example is our box art for our games, who we farm out to Eric Hibbler, and he crushes it because he's really good at capturing exactly the aesthetic and the color palette and all the stuff that we've done, so that he captures the essence of these cartoony characters that Sam has made and puts them in a digital painting, and it's just perfect. It makes it's exactly what you would think a painting of those things should look like, and so then it works. Yeah. I think we're running into an interesting thing with this. Do you want to touch on just briefly the next thing we're kind of currently cooking up in the Butterscotch oven, which is that we're essentially doing a remastered Quadrupus. This is largely due to a lot of the interesting bandwidth differences that we have right now, as far as a lot of the work going into Crashlands, going into the creator, going into sort of building out Butterscotch ID, and we essentially have some extra art power, and so we thought, oh, well, at first it was just gonna be a small thing. Let's just go back and sort of touch up some details. And the problem was going back to this consistency principle. As soon as we changed one of the art assets in Quadrupus, it suddenly made it very obvious that the rest of them are terrible.
And not necessarily terrible, but
not by themselves,
rendered in a completely different style.
Right. Yep. And so it was like, oh, okay. So if we're gonna do this, then we have to do it, like the whole thing. And then there's lots of questions, so we still have to answer about how exactly we're going to go about executing this from a launch standpoint and everything else. But that's one of the things that's in the pipe, and one of the interesting things about having done the art from Tau Fight to now all the way through Crashlands is even toward the end of Crashlands, that project was so long that by the time we were in the tundra, the level of stuff that I could make was actually, I had to sort of hold it in stasis a bit so that
harnessing your talent.
Yeah, so that I wouldn't like mess up the consistency, right? Because if you make over the course of 2 years, you're obviously going to make a bunch of progress as a programmer, as doing anything you're doing, as a designer and artist. And so if you're working on the same project, now you got this interesting problem where you need to make sure you have two choices. One is to update the old crap, which is now suddenly obviously crap compared to the new stuff you've been making. And the other one is to sort of hold back your growth a little bit to make sure you can finish the project and not have to redo everything.
Definitely the easier of the two options.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
which is what we did for Crashlands.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting to sort of just go to town on this stuff, and it's been quite a bit of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's been amazing seeing the differences.
It's pretty gross.
Because I mean, Quadrupus you made 2.5 years ago?
Yeah,
probably 3
years ago.
Almost 3 years
ago.
ago.
It would be summer of 2013.
Yeah. So more than 3 years
ago.
ago.
3.5 years ago.
Holy crap. And you've had so much more practice and so much more experience since then. And just seeing just the overall grasp of anatomy.
Yeah. Or shadows.
And shading and just it's been really incredible. So if you actually log onto our Twitter at Butterscotch Shenanigans, you can see some of these comparisons of before and after old Quadrupus art to this new Quadrupus art. It's just mind-boggling.
It's pretty different.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess, right? Because it's like it'd been 3 years and I was like still limping along. Yeah.
Well, it's funny too because the difference is big enough that we talked a little while ago about tools and stuff that we made, and so I made this tool for exporting the images that Sam makes. So Sam was testing it out on something, and he looked at the output and he was like, "I don't think this is working properly because this image looks like crap." And I was looking at it, I'm like, "I think it's working fine." And then he opened up the original just to make sure, and it still looked like crap. And he was like, oh shit.
Crap in the original.
It's just what it looks like.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's been amusing.
Yeah. So we'll have more details on that Quadriverse Remastered, and I guess the only thing we can say about it is that it's likely to be its own standalone thing, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, it's looking more likely that that's the direction we're going to go.
We may pivot, as we always do, but that's where it is this week.
As we have every week
Yeah.
since
you've been
Yeah,
here.
we're speeding up now. Now that you're getting accustomed to it, we're not pulling any
Clip is-
punches.
Yep.
For 3 days.
But yeah, we'll probably update every week or so we've got our weekly recap.
Yeah,
that
on
we've been
Friday, I
posting.
guess you can look forward to some new weapons on Friday if you want
Yeah.
to go see some of the new stuff. Maybe the eel. Have we posted the eel yet?
We posted a one little preview of that eel.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put some weapons up on Friday.
Yeah, so
so
go
you
to
guys can see it.
bscotch.net and you can see those things also.
Cool. Next question comes from Hawks Rock 250,
Hawks Rock.
who asks, "Can we expect to see Philip the Coffee Monster in Codename Brunch?" Which is interesting because Codename Brunch is no longer a thing that we're doing.
We just
Speaking of
pivoted.
pivoted,
Well, it's still on the list.
oh, it's on the docket. It's just later.
It's
We just erased it and put it farther down. On
Yeah.
the-
Mhm.
yeah, we just knocked it down the queue a bit.
Mhm.
It's no big deal.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's all right. It's all good.
What do you guys think about actually pulling in stuff from the podcast or
I think we
fan
should
suggestions?
have some of it. And where did the torso demon, was that from a podcast episode?
That was from the Global Game Jam.
Oh, that was from a game jam.
Yeah.
2015.
That's right.
Torso Demon
Which I-
Saga, the co-op game.
I don't
We have
even
lots
know-
of demons, I guess, that come up
Yeah.
in various.
We need to.
there's a
I need to
Fanta
build.
demon.
I need to take time to build
a
a
chocolate-
cohesive lore for that.
chocolate
Because I was noticing. So I
demon.
played World of Warcraft over the weekend, the new Legion expansion, and I think because they had so much time now to build out their lore and stuff, they have a lot of fun characters and sort of factions to play with, and a few of them that are just purely evil all the time, which is great. So those are just great because you can take anything that was good at some point and then be like, oh, they've been corrupted by these guys who are always evil all the time. You're like, fuckers. So
Yeah.
I feel like we need to maybe I'll take some time to do some lore background on that
Yeah,
stuff.
I would love to bring in Philip the Coffee Monster and just have him scream at everybody. Just
Piercing screech.
yeah, it's
Well, I think you made the AC ring, Carol.
Oh
That was
my
amazing.
God, so
Unfortunately,
resonant.
you listeners probably couldn't hear that, but the whole room was just
Vents.
ringing. That was amazing.
Man, Fat Bard's gonna
The-
kill us.
The one problem though with something like Philip the Coffee Monster specifically is that he's a coffee machine,
It's too real.
so it's too real.
Yeah.
We'd have to have some abstract form
yeah.
of him.
Well, we
To
can
make that work.
base it off of the form of a coffee machine and turn it into something.
Yeah.
I mean, he would work well as a Viru.
Yeah.
A bodiless Viru.
Yeah.
But I also
Splash
like
around.
Fanta Steak Demon,
Yeah, there's a
a
fantastic
chocolate demon.
Oh yeah, we have a
There's
lot of
demons
stuff
everywhere.
The chocolate demon just slaps you in the butt and just leaves chocolate marks.
I do
everywhere
love
you
this
go.
idea of having demons that aren't necessarily so united as like an evil faction, but just
Oh,
have,
yeah.
have their own things that they're like trying to do. Like the chocolate demons.
going on, you know?
just put
Chocolate demons just
everywhere.
put chocolate in places that shouldn't put it. That's like
it's
their
not,
thing.
It's not shit. It's not.
It's the
I swear
chocolate.
it's
It's fucking chocolate demons. Yeah. Maybe that's the way we should do it. I like that idea. That's good.
Just chocolate demon the game. That would actually be a really good jam game.
If you had
Is
to run
running
around
around.
Spread chocolate on things you're not supposed to put it on.
Can we talk about Sher's Sher's game jam game? So
Yeah.
Sher, as part of his training regimen, has been doing occasional game jams here in the studio amidst his work on the existing games. And Coco, the office dog, Seth's dog, last week was suffering from some intestinal problems. And
She was shitting all over everything.
she was pooping everywhere. And Sher decided to use that as his theme for his latest game jam game.
So didn't you had to get people, you had to be like, be cute and get people away from their desks.
Yeah.
And then
And distract them and then go back and like shit on their seat and blame it on that.
Blame it on
yeah,
that.
you're supposed to make everybody else in the office think that person just shat somewhere.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a stealth.
Stealth shitter.
Stealth pooping game, which is interesting because Adriel Wallach, who is another game developer, made it she did it one game a week
Mhm.
for a year. And one of her one games a week was a stealth farting game, which is one of my favorite game jam
Oh.
games that I have ever played. You're at
That
a
is more
convention.
applicable to real life.
Yeah, you're at a convention and there's people all around and you have to go find the spaces that are free of people so you can fart and then walk away as quickly as possible so people don't identify the fart smell with you.
Can you also walk
so
into
good.
big groups and fart so that nobody knows who the source is?
Mm.
See, that would be realistic, but as I recall, people just immediately know that it's you.
No.
But that's always my
for
suspicion
the
whenever I do
expansion.
that in public, like
Oh,
walking
yeah.
on an expo floor and you're like, you know what? I've been around people all day. I
Time to
haven't
crop
had a chance.
dust.
Yep, just gonna crop dust this entire row. Sorry, Ubisoft.
They're like, no.
I always just assume everybody knows it's me, but in reality, you can't possibly know. You couldn't. How could you possibly know that?
We'll know from now on, Carol.
Yeah, I mean, like you won't.
Speaking of which, since we're on the topic of this, there's a game that we were told by the Rack 7 guys about called "Don't Shit Your Pants." I want to say, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's a little text-based adventure. You should go check it out.
What is
I'll
it
just
at?
leave it at that. I just Google it. There's only one.
Don't shit your pants game.
Yeah,
You'll find it.
it's like a little flash game or something.
It's exciting. All right. Next question comes from Man Baby, which is a good one, who asks, if Butterscotch Shenanigans ever had a slogan, what would it be?
Don't shit your pants.
Yeah. What do we say a lot in the office?
Well, Adam says you couldn't possibly know that.
That is my slogan.
Turtles all the
Wrong.
way down.
Turtles all the way down.
Turtles all the way down. Yeah,
Yeah, we do say that one a lot.
it's a pretty good one. I don't know.
We've developed a lot of little weird office culture quirks.
There's
I
also
guess.
"fuck you, buddy," which we say in a very friendly way, right? We
All the
mean it
time.
endearingly.
Yeah.
but
And like, bada.
Everybody starts singing just the theme song, the Bears theme song.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we originally when we made the studio, we had what was it, mind gripping, heart stopping games for like a month. That was a
yeah, we've gone through a
byline.
few bylines, but they just don't feel.
They never work.
good.
Yeah.
Try to shove me into a box, man.
Sticky fun.
Sticky fun. We'd be like,
Maybe not. Maybe I know.
I don't know.
those
So,
games.
yeah, I mean, slogans are hard because they're supposed to give you an extra little bit of room to essentially communicate what your company's about.
Mm-hmm.
But what else needs to be communicated about Butterscotch Shenanigans?
Well,
You know
probably
what
the
I'm saying?
fact that it's a game studio.
Yeah. We make games.
So you mean our
Period.
slogan would be a game studio?
Yeah. By the way, this is a game studio.
Yeah.
It would clear up some stuff. I suppose.
Yeah.
It's
Everybody's like, Butterscotch Shenanigans.
Yeah. That is how they actually say it when they walk by
Yeah,
the
no,
company.
it's true. That's why I was just reenacting that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Slogans are hard, man, baby.
They are, but I don't think we
Man,
need
baby.
one really because Butterscotch Shenanigans is not a thing you stumble across accidentally. You can only find it by specifically looking for it, which means you already know what you're looking for.
And aren't we in the top results for Googling just butterscotch
Getting
though?
there.
We are, we're climbing up the list.
Are we on
So
page one
people
now?
are super fans.
We're on page 1, yeah.
Okay.
But there's still recipes for butterscotch pie or pudding or something that
Yeah,
come
pudding
up on
is
top.
Sounds good.
So we need to become more popular than butterscotch pudding /
So I
pie.
guess here's a question
Pudding pie?
for our listeners. If you have a good slogan or byline for Butterscotch, yeah, hit us on the tweets with it so we can maybe come up with one if we're in need.
Mm-hmm. We'll put it on all of our print collateral.
Yeah, print collateral. Why is it called collateral?
I don't know.
Stuff that's
Biz speak.
around
Yeah.
your print. Okay, last question of the day comes from Roxton, who asks, for such a lightheartedly humorous game, Crashlands resists making campy references to other media. The ones that do exist are subtle or rare, deliberate jabs. Was that a design decision or just a product of your collective sense of humor?
Here's a question though. If the ones that he noticed were subtle and rare, is that there are actually many more that are more subtle so that they're actually not rare at all? He just isn't catch all.
You're just swimming.
There are a lot of really, really subtle things in there that
Friggin' Rickroll.
that we
Oh
barely
yeah, Carol just found one out yesterday.
Yeah.
So there's the 310 drum that you first meet in Power Pole.
Mhm.
It's Ollie, Kick Flip,
And back flip.
Back Flip is the one you rescue,
Yep.
which are
And I
all
was-
skateboard moves.
Yeah, in the office we were talking about kick flipping because we have a trophy
Mm-hmm.
skateboard from the Reboot Awards, and we were like, yeah, we could bring that in and kick flip, and I was like, kick flip.
Wait a second.
The world hitched into place.
Yeah,
suddenly.
we have a lot of those kinds of things that aren't even exactly jokes.
culture.
Yeah, they're not even. I don't know. It's just
They
almost.
just sort of made us giggle when we were putting them in.
Yeah, like they're not even really a joke that makes any kind of sense
Mm-hmm.
at all. It's just like we were laughing about something. I think Sam just named one of them something like Keek Fleep, and then we just thought this was hilarious, and we're like, let's put a back fleep in there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh no, Ollie was the first name. And
That was only the first one. Okay.
But Kick Flip. I was like,
And then we have like Andiana and John's.
yeah,
For when you go on your adventure, you know.
to fight Blockstock. Yeah.
So you go follow Andiana Johns, and then we've got
Just got it.
we've got the Shirks are the bird sharks, right, in the tundra, and so
Oh, that
we have the
one's so good.
Gertwort Shirk, Jers. Name's Jers.
Jers.
Jers the
Which is
Great Red Shirt.
obviously named after Jaws, the great white
Yeah,
shark.
but not
Yeah.
everybody notices that one.
No.
That's one of the rare pop culture references.
That is,
Yeah.
But I think the thing to note about putting pop culture references within pop culture is that it's kind of an easy out for comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been the view. I mean, I know that I kind of default, especially on the podcast, to just making these quick references like,
Mhm.
it's not shit, which is
Right.
from the IT crowd. It's like one of my favorite things to say. But if
But
you
I
put
didn't
that
know what
in
you
a
were
game, it
talking
wouldn't be
about.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's still funny,
Right.
regardless. But if you put that in a game, it's just like it loses
Mm-hmm.
the originality.
Well, especially once you move the game, once you move time, beyond like the year or
Yeah, it
two
depends how
around the
topical
launch of your
it
product.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, you want to make something that can actually
It's
that doesn't have to
timeless.
stand. Yeah, but the funny thing is, we found I can't remember what it was, but someone else sent us a note and they're like, "Oh, I found this reference to this some obscure thing that they know about, which we didn't do on purpose,
Yeah.
but we had accidentally
like, right.
referenced." It does remind me of like the original name for Hugo was supposed to be Q, and we were ready to rock on that all the way up until like 6
And
months
short
before launch.
for Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, which was the first name of the god from the original Tau Fight of the Gods with banana arms.
Yep.
From way back when. It was Quetzalcoatl and Pete were the two gods that you were fighting for. Pete, of course, is now the god of the sea in actual Wonope. And we were coming up on time to write the story, and then someone said, "Oh, your villain's name is Q. It's just like the Star Trek villain."
Yep.
We were like, "What are you talking about?" Because none of us watched Star Trek.
If I was working here at the time, I could.
Oh, yeah, you would have called that out early.
We had no idea, but we actually decided to change it before that anyway because we were like, if somebody searches for Q, like they're gonna find
Mhm.
infinite things and not the thing we care about. So
Mostly
we
they
decided on a
would
new
find
name.
Q from Star Trek.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we discovered that. Yeah, because we've discovered a few times that we accidentally made stuff very similar to stuff that already existed that then people thought was either us stealing or us making a pop culture reference.
Yep.
Didn't people think that we stole our studio name from Undertale?
Yes.
Which is hilarious because Undertale
What was
came
that? I
out
haven't
like
heard this
2 or
one.
3 years
Because
after
there's
the
like
studio
there's
was
one of the
formed.
very early things that happens is you as a character get asked what flavor you prefer or something, and it's like cinnamon or Butterscotch are the two options that you can choose. And I don't know if this has ramifications later in the game. I've only played the first like 20 minutes of the game, but that's like that little line you actually see screenshotted everywhere, and people refer to it everywhere for some reason. And so we abbreviate Butterscotch as Butterscotch also,
Mhm.
and so
Which a lot of people actually do.
a
I
lot of
believe.
people do. And so, but we got accused of basically stealing that.
Even
somehow.
It's one of those
People need to work on
recursive
their-
thefts.
Yeah.
The internet's a weird place.
The internet
temporal
is a silly
understanding.
place.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
That's it.
that's it on this week's podcast with coffee.
Podcast with coffee.
Coffee with Butterscotch.
It's
So
me
gotta-
trying to close out for the first time ever.
So you should go to podcast.bscotch.net and ask us some damn questions.
And also tell all your friends.
and tell all your friends to ask us some damn questions.
Our listenership has actually been growing since we did a better job of actually reminding people to tell their friends.
But it
So
could
good
just be a
job, guys.
coincidence.
Please
So
share
either
the
good job,
podcast.
guys, or do better.
Prove to Adam
Do it
Yeah,
that it's
better.
a
Do
real
so
thing.
good that the number increases so much that there can't be any other explanation.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.